Hi everyone and welcome to this week's video. I thought it would be kind of fun to kind of just share what I've been enjoying lately because if I'm not, making YouTube videos, if I'm not auditioning or studying, because I'm always trying to like learn new things, I'm either reading or I'm watching stuff to keep learning because knowledge is addictive. In a good way, not like I'm gonna be some evil mastermind. Probably. Maybe. Anyways, on to what I've been watching. I also want to give you this list so like if you're like, I don't know what to watch, this is what I recommend watching because it's so good. First off, I want to just talk about Sweet Home. It's a K-drama, it's on Netflix, and let me tell you, it was so good. It was like if you mixed Stranger Things and Dark Harbor together. Like if you don't know, I worked Dark Harbor and Long Beach, the Queen Mary's Dark Harbor, a couple years ago, and I had a lot of fun. I mean, it was really intense. I got punched in the face once, which that wasn't fun, but I met I met a lot of really great people, and it was an experience. But back to Sweet Home. Let me tell you, it was pretty funny because my brother really wanted to watch it because he had read the webtoon. And I wanted to watch it, but he was just like, nah, it's gonna be too scary for you. It's gonna be too much. Because let me tell you, I do not like horror movies that, I don't know, there's certain horror movies that are like satanic that I'm just like, oh, I don't need all that negativity in my life, okay? I do not seek out horror films and movies and shows and stuff, but actually there's a lot of really good ones because there's Sweet Home, and then Stranger Things is kind of really scary. So don't judge a book by its cover, and don't judge a film or show by its genre. So anyway, Sweet Home is about this kid who recently moves into this building. It's really dark because he plans on committing suicide there, and it goes into like what he's been through, and his reasoning as far as like how he got to that point in his life. And all of a sudden things go really crazy. People are turning into monsters. There's certain signs that show like, oh, if you have this and this and this, you're going to turn into a monster. And once you turn into a monster, you can't be killed. And it gets really intense because the monsters try to kill everyone, and people start changing, and they're like, should we just kill them if they're showing symptoms, or do we try this wait and see? And the main character, Hyun Soo, he is the one character that can switch back and forth. And I think I'm still thinking about it. It's been a while since I've watched it, and I really want to watch the series again, which if you've watched me for a while, you know that if I think about a piece of art, a book, a show or something for a long time afterwards, it's really good. Anyways, yeah, it's kind of symbolic in like what your desires are. I think it also has to do with like your inner demons, which is really interesting. And usually like if it has anything to do with demons, I do not want to watch it. But this was so good. Highly recommend it. I can't give anything away because you have to watch it. So yes, give that a go. And I mean, like, it has Song Kang and Lee Do-yeon in it, so I mean. So the second one is Finding Ohana. It's a really cute family-friendly movie. It's kind of like a amped up Disney Channel original movie. So it's kind of cheesy, kind of corny, but I think it was better than the cheesy Disney Channel original movie. So if you're looking for something just kind of easy, kind of fun, lighthearted to watch that one. It's kind of like Indiana Jones and The Goonies mixed together. So that's a good movie. So I have been watching The Uncanny Counter, which is another K-drama on Netflix. That one, okay, it's a lot cheesier than Sweet Home. Like, Sweet Home was good, like, all around. The acting, the story, the cinematography, the sound design, I mean, it was super good. The Uncanny Counter is a little bit more cheesy, but it reeled me in. Like, after the first episode, I was just like, do I really want to keep watching this? But I did, and I'm so glad I did, because it's really good. The characters are relatable. They have a background that is really intriguing and kind of draws you in. You kind of want to know what happens. They address bullying, which is huge, and I'm just like, oh yeah! Yeah, because don't bully each other. Don't be mean. Like, we see a lot of cyberbullying. Like, I know there's a lot of mean people on social media because that's basically, like, my human interaction since the pandemic started. And, like, will you guys just please stop being so mean to each other? Anywho, back to the Uncanny Counter. I would say definitely, like, give that a watch. Oh, I didn't tell you what it's about. Okay. So, counters are basically like Grim Reapers, and they're supposed to hunt down the evil spirits and take them back to the other side, the other realm. So it's really interesting. It has a lot to do. I mean, I know I said I don't like demonic things, and these evil spirits are kind of like demons, but trust me, it's good. It has like, they have like superpowers. It's very tragic, but it has a lot of comedy to it. So it's a good one. The last thing that I've been watching, which now is like the full season is out, is WandaVision. Oh, that has been a ride. I don't want to give anything away, but when you watch the first couple episodes, you're like, what the heck is going on here? Like, what? Nothing is as it seems. It's a lot more intense than it seems like all MCU films are. So, and I'm a huge Marvel fan. You may or may not know that, but I really do like superheroes and Marvel, and DC has some really, really good animated stuff. I'm not a fan of their live action stuff, but their animated stuff is... So that's basically what I've been watching. I also started watching Alice in Borderland, again, on Netflix. That one's super intense. Like, the story's good, but let me tell you, oh my gosh, I have to like sit and do nothing afterwards because I'll watch it like before bed, and then I'm like, I can't go to sleep. This was too intense. But I have not finished it yet. I want to finish it because I'm reeled in. I want to know what happens. Like, why the heck are they here? If you've watched it, let me know. I'd like to know if it's really, really good. If you like it. And if you watch something else, please let me know because I'm going to end up running out of shows. I would greatly appreciate recommendations. So as far as reading goes, I just finished the Crazy Rich Asians trilogy by Kevin Kwan, and oh my gosh, that was intense in a completely different way. Like, some of these problems these people have, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm just like worried about, you know, sometimes forgetting to eat, or, you know, finding a job, or I don't know. It seems like some of their problems, I'm like, gosh, I do not want to deal with that. Like, if you watch the movie, there's a lot more details in the book, obviously, because it's a book. I'd say the movie was a pretty good rendition of the book, and you should read the book. But the next two books, I love how it's not just about Rachel and Nick, even though I think that was a great introduction to the story, because Rachel is someone who seems normal. Is not like the top 0.01% of the richest people in the world, which I'm not a part of, which after reading the book I'm kind of like, thank goodness they have problems that I don't even want to think about. So I think she was a great introduction into the story, and I love how the next two books aren't just Rachel and Nick love each other, or they're dealing with their family who's like crazy and there's a lot of drama going on. A few new characters are introduced as the trilogy goes on, and we see a lot of different point of views, which I think is fantastic. Storytelling is all about like a point of view, and if you have one situation, especially something that only the top 0.01% of the world can relate to, then I think it's incredibly important to show like how different people go through this situation and how it affects them. And honestly, like, I love how detailed Kevin Kwan is, because sometimes he's talking about the different foods and I'm like, oh my gosh, now I need to go to Singapore and like try all these street foods because everything sounds delicious. And then he goes into great detail about their dress and their fashion, and it really helps me paint a picture in my head of like what they're wearing, because I don't know anything about couture. Like, what? Who designed what? I'm not super into fashion, but the way he described their dresses or their outfits or their suits, I was just like, oh, okay, so this is what they look like in my mind. Wow, they look really good. I think it's a really great trilogy, but you should read it in order. It'll make a lot more sense. You'll know who all the characters are. You're not trying to like play catch up. So that I just finished reading, and I just finished reading Life is a Dream, which is a play from the 1600s. It originated in Spain, and let me tell you that I was reading the introduction to the play. It's like, this is a tragic comedy or tragedy or I am not quite sure what the exact term was, but it was tragic and a comedy, and I was like, okay, so is it like a dramedy, I guess? No, I think tragic was the perfect word to describe it, because there is some really dark humor. Like, I don't want to give too much away, but one of the characters ends up flinging the other character off the balcony because the other character was really annoying him, saying like, you won't throw me off the balcony. The main character was like, oh yeah, you want to bet? You took him over and like flung him over the balcony, and I was reading it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is really intense, but it's hilarious because, you know, sometimes you're in that moment, you're just like, oh, you're annoying me so much, I just want but I mean, I wouldn't do that, I wouldn't kill someone. Really dark humor. I would love to see this play in real life. I mean, to play some of the characters would be so much fun because they're very multidimensional, and some things work out not in the way that you would expect them to. And I think that's really interesting, and it talks a lot about the human experience and suffering and different point of views, how your situation is compared to someone else's situation, and kind of like how hindsight plays a role in it. You kind of feel bad, but then you're also like, oh my gosh, how do I feel bad for this character? So it's not like this is the bad guy, this is the good guy. There's a lot of books and movies and different forms of like entertainment that have two-dimensional characters, and they're just, it's kind of boring. Like, you're bad for a reason. You're a villain for a reason. There's something that brought you to this point. Either like you chose the bad life, or you don't realize you're on that path. You just think you're doing what is right. Like, no one ever decides they're going to be evil just to be evil. There's always like some sort of reason, unless they're psychotic, which that would be their underlying reason. Or, I mean, even if you watch Phineas and Ferb, or if you've ever watched Phineas and Ferb and you're like, Dr. Doofenshmirtz decided he was going to be evil. I mean, was he really evil? Did he ever do anything that was really that bad? I mean, come on, guys. No. He just had a lot of bad experiences and was tired with the world. He really cared about Perry the Platypus. He cared about his daughter. Anyways, that's kind of what I've been reading, kind of what I've been watching. If you have like a book recommendation, a play recommendation, please let me know in the comments. And yeah, thanks for watching. Like this video, subscribe. I mean, you guys know the whole spiel. We've been over this a million times before. And if you are new, then welcome. Thank you for watching this video. I come up with new videos every week at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I'm excited to see you next week. And until then, watch some good shows, read some good books, read some plays, expand your horizons. So take care and see you guys next week. All right? Lots of love. I love making this little heart shape, isn't it? Thank you.